Welcome back, English 360 learners. I'm Alex.
And I'm Mia. We're so glad to have you with us for another episode designed to help you master English from every angle.
That's right, Mia. Today, we're diving deep into practical strategies to really supercharge your English learning journey. Whether you're feeling stuck at an intermediate plateau or just looking for new ways to push yourself, we've got some fantastic tips for you.
Absolutely, Alex. And we know many of you are eager to move past simply understanding grammar rules to actually using English confidently in real-life situations. So let's get straight into it. Alex, what's one of the first things you recommend for someone looking to truly improve their spoken English?
Great question, Mia. For me, it all starts with active listening. It's not just about hearing the words, it's about trying to understand the context, the intonation, and even the subtle emotions behind what's being said. Don't just consume content passively. When you're watching a show or listening to a podcast like this one, really try to grasp why someone said something a certain way. Pause, rewind, analyze. For example, if a character in a movie says, "I can't believe it," notice if the tone is one of surprise, disappointment, or sarcasm. This trains your ear for the nuances of the language.
That's such a crucial point, Alex. And building on that, once you've actively listened, the next step is often shadowing. This technique, for those who don't know, involves listening to a native speaker and then repeating what they say, almost simultaneously, like an echo. You're not just repeating words, you're mimicking their rhythm, their stress, their pronunciation. It's like being a voice actor for a few seconds.
Shadowing is a game changer. I used it a lot when learning a new language. It helps train your mouth muscles to form new sounds and gets you used to the natural flow of English. It feels a bit strange at first, almost like you're talking over someone, but the results are incredible for boosting your pronunciation and intonation. You'll start to notice how native speakers link words together. Like, "what are you doing" often sounds more like "what you doing."
Exactly. And the best part is you can do it with almost any audio, movie clips, news reports, even this podcast. Just choose a short segment, listen a few times, and then try to mimic it. You'll be amazed at how quickly your spoken English starts to sound more natural.
So we've talked about listening and speaking. Mia, what about expanding vocabulary beyond just memorizing word lists?
Excellent point, Alex. While flashcards have their place, relying solely on them can make vocabulary feel disconnected. My top tip here is to learn words in context. When you encounter a new word, don't just write it down. Try to understand it within the sentence it appeared. Then try to use it in your own sentences right away. Even better, use it in connection with other new words you've learned. For instance, if you hear the word meticulous, don't just write down careful and precise. Write a full sentence like, "The architect was meticulous in his design, checking every detail 3 times."
That's fantastic advice. I always tell people to create sentences that are relevant to their lives. If you learn the word procrastinate, don't just write, "I procrastinate." Write, "I always procrastinate when I have to do my taxes." It makes the word stick because it has personal meaning.
Precisely. And don't forget about collocations. These are words that often go together naturally, like make a decision, not do a decision. Learning these pairs or groups of words makes your English sound much more natural. You won't find these in a simple dictionary definition. You need to observe them in use. For example, instead of heavy rain, you might hear torrential downpour.
Very true. And speaking of observation, let's talk about grammar. For many intermediate learners, grammar can feel like a huge obstacle. Mia, how do you suggest they approach it without getting bogged down?
Alex, I think the biggest mistake is treating grammar as a separate subject, disconnected from communication. Instead, I advocate for grammar in action. Don't just memorize rules for the sake of it. When you're listening or reading, try to notice how native speakers are using specific tenses or structures. For example, if you're struggling with the present perfect, pay attention every time you hear someone say, "I have been," or "she has gone." Ask yourself, why did they use that tense here instead of the simple past?
So it's about shifting from abstract rules to practical examples. I love that. And once you notice it, try to imitate it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes when you're trying out a new grammatical structure. The more you use it, the more natural it will become. It's like learning to ride a bike. You fall a few times, but eventually it becomes second nature.
And speaking of practical tips, let's talk about something many of us use every day: technology. Alex, how can our listeners use their smartphones and computers to their advantage?
That's a great point, Mia. We live in a world with incredible tools. My number one tip here is to use language exchange apps. Apps like HelloTalk or Tandem connect you with native speakers who are learning your language. It's a two-way street. You help them with your language and they help you with English. It's a fantastic way to practice speaking in a low-pressure environment with a real person.
And it's not just about one-on-one practice. Learners can also join online communities, find a Discord server, a Facebook group, or even a Reddit community dedicated to English learning or a hobby you love like gaming or cooking. This way, you're not just studying English, you're using it as a tool to connect with people who share your interests. The conversations feel more natural and engaging because you have a common topic.
Absolutely. And for those who are a bit shy, a great starting point is using a voice recorder app on your phone. Record yourself speaking for 1 minute a day about anything: your day, your weekend plans, a movie you just watched. Listening back can help you pinpoint pronunciation issues or grammar errors you didn't even realize you were making. It's your own personal language lab.
That's a brilliant, low-stakes way to build confidence. And let's not forget about translation apps. But with a twist. Instead of translating full sentences, try to use them to look up a single word that you're not sure about. Then put that word back into your own sentence. This helps you build that in-context vocabulary we were talking about earlier, rather than relying on the app to do all the work for you.
That's a great way to use technology. And to wrap things up, Alex, what about cultivating a mindset for continuous improvement? Because consistency is often harder than motivation.
You hit the nail on the head, Mia. Consistency is everything. One strategy I highly recommend is finding your why. Why are you learning English? Is it for a new job, to travel, to connect with people? When you have a strong why, it helps you push through those days when you don't feel motivated. Keep that why in front of you.
And remember that setbacks are a normal part of the learning process. It's okay to have days where you feel like you're not making progress. The key is to not give up. Even 15 or 20 minutes of English exposure a day can make a massive difference over time. It could be listening to a song, reading an article, or just thinking to yourself in English.
The inner conversation method. That's one of my favorites. Just narrate your day in your head in English. I'm making coffee now. It's hot. I need to go to work soon. It's a fantastic way to practice without needing a speaking partner, and it builds confidence when you do speak.
It's incredibly effective for building fluency and accessing vocabulary quickly. And it also helps identify gaps in your vocabulary or grammar naturally. If you can't think of how to say something to yourself, you know it's something you need to look up. Mia, we've covered a lot today, from active listening and shadowing to contextual vocabulary, grammar and action, leveraging technology, and mindset. If you had to give our listeners one final actionable tip, what would it be?
That's a tough one, Alex, because they're all so important. But if I had to pick just one, it would be this: embrace mistakes. View them as opportunities to learn, not failures. Every time you make a mistake, it means you're trying, you're pushing your boundaries, and you're identifying an area for improvement. Don't let the fear of making a mistake stop you from speaking or trying something new.
I couldn't agree more, Mia. And my final tip would be to make English a part of your daily life in a fun way. Don't just treat it as a chore. Change your phone language to English. Watch movies without subtitles. Listen to music. Play games in English. The more you enjoy it, the more naturally you'll learn.
Fantastic advice, Alex. And remember, English 360 is here to support you every step of the way on your language journey.
That's right. We'll be back next time with more insights and tips to help you unlock your English potential.
Until then, keep practicing, keep learning, and most importantly, keep enjoying the process.
See you next time, English 360 learners.
Bye for now.